clear it out, and they're going to start to launch an assault on the Antonia fortress. Doing so is incredibly tough. They set up a couple of ramps to try and breach the wall itself, but meanwhile, as I said, all of these positions can pour on fire, have
DC marked! Prepare to drop!
Gas is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone.
Sally out so it's very, very tough. The going is so tough that they're forced to actually set up, additional fortifications here and bombard this position, but it's still unyielding.
Got eyes on a vehicle.
And so eventually what's done is the ramps are built up, and that's the Roman procedure throughout the siege, is to build up ramps, bring in their battering rams, and try and slowly knock and breach the walls. And so that's what's being done. The Jews know that this is being done, so what they actually do is they dig a counter tunnel from within the Temple Mount itself, or somewhere beyond. They dig under all of this, and then they dig out a cavity under the siege ramps, set the pit drops on fire, cause that cavity to collapse, and with it they bring down Rome siege ramps, and then on top of that they send out a sally to burn all of those. So that's an incredible feat on the part of the Jews, again showing their expertise in the defense and their tenacity there. And to think ancient humans could not only build structures of this magnitude, but during the siege, you have people literally burrowing underground for kilometers at a time.
Your primary objective is to kill them all.
Crazy. And meanwhile, on top of that, the Romans are doing this siege on the Antonia, and they're being beaten back, and there's that undermining operation that destroys their siege ramps. Similarly, the Romans have ramps against this wall. They're trying to take the upper city. Those are then also sallied out against and destroyed. So the Romans have to take a step back and reconsider their bullheadedness. And then what they decide to do is throw out a wall of circulation, a circular wall that the Romans built to besiege the city even further. It's a complete circuit, so it goes around. It's about, I think it's like 8 kilometers, studded by fortresses, and it actually does cut through this northern part. It cuts through the new city up here. And so with them circling complete, the Romans have figured the news is tightened on Jerusalem. They can no longer kind of sneak in and out people, messages, supplies. That really cements the fact that the Romans are committed to strangling the city in its entirety. And then with that, they renew their efforts on the Antonia fortress. Luckily for the Romans, what ends up happening is that the Antonia here, the mine that came from perhaps inside of the Temple Mount, perhaps from another position, the mine that they dug, that countermined, that undermined the Roman siege ramps, made its way out here. In the middle of the night, actually, yet more of the excavation is going to buckle, and instead of just taking out the siege ramps, which they already did, it now buckles and collapses this portion of the wall. So what you have is in the middle of the night, this wall of the Antonia fortress that the Romans have been desperately trying to break into now collapses. And what that opens up is the entire courtyard here. And so at dawn, Titus rallies the best troops that he can, or at least asks for volunteers, and says, who will charge into the breach, which, based off what the Romans have seen, is a suicide mission to charge into the teeth of Jewish defense, and just consider what that would look like as a Jewish defender to see Romans trying to work through that gap. You have complete surrounding arcs of fire on that. That's clearly a suicidal, the Romans would have known it. So anyways, they send a party forward, heavy casualties, and then thrown back by the Jews. The Romans sit back and wait. There's a bit of a stalemate. It's supposedly, I think, during these stalemates that you have a Jewish champion, and it might have been earlier, who basically stands at one of these breaches in the wall and dares the Romans to come at him and challenges him. A couple of Romans come forward and slain until eventually a Roman centurion actually draws a bow and fires upon him and hits the champion down. So with all kinds of these little minutiae stories, you can just imagine as a Jewish observer in the tower watching your champion there challenging, slaying Romans. You're cheering him on. There's a whole crowd behind him cheering him on, and then eventually you see an arrow come out of nowhere and knock him down. And you can imagine the profanities hurled at the Romans in the distance. You can actually visually see, and that's why I love this 3D model, is you can imagine all this in your mind's eye. But anyways, back to the story. So there's the breach in the wall. The Romans send the volunteers. The volunteers are pushed back, and there's a bit of a stalemate. But then eventually, one night, there's some Romans who kind of rally themselves, and this is completely organic. Just a group cobbles itself together and decides to do a night assault. and it's
I'll
completely
drive.
uncoordinated. But nonetheless, they're able to sneak past the Jewish defenders and kill some of them. And at night, they kind of crawl across the rubble, make it into this courtyard, and the Roman trumpeter who comes with them blares out siren horns. And so you can imagine one of the Jewish guards or other garrison members who are sleeping all of a sudden hear a Roman horn reverberating from within the courtyard. This causes absolute chaos and panic.
I'll drive.
This guard in the tower here, for instance, might think, oh my goodness, I'm stuck up here, the Romans are inside, he's going to be running down the stairs to try and escape. Everyone from this garrison position then pours out and tries to leave the position in the chaos. They then storm out across the courtyard and try and make their way back to the remaining
I'll drive.
garrisons here. But they quickly see that no one's pursuing them, and so they rally their forces and come back.
Strap
there's
in,
a
I'm
desperate
driving.
fight when the Romans are similarly startled by the Roman horn that goes off, and so all of a sudden you have a panicked assault from both sides, seizing to capitalize on this kind of serendipitous event and fight for the Antonia. And so there's a squabble, and this is all happening in the dead of the night, two armies clashing in the confines of the columns and the passageways.
Strap in, I'm
driving. And this goes on through apparently several hours until the sun rises. It just goes on for hours and hours and hours. Maybe a couple Roman parties do push out and go out here, but are repulsed. It's said that the Jews who had claimed some Roman gear in the process of the siege, who are now wearing it, that confuses the Romans. The Romans don't know who they're fighting. They end up fighting their own troops in the dark passages. It's just complete chaos. And so the assault is eventually called off. And so that's kind of this first stage here for the Battle of the Antonia. Later, the Romans do a bit more of a coordinated assault, and they go further along the breach here to take down some of the towers. And finally, the leaders push through and take the Antonia. And then what they do is they push out. They're able to kind of make it out into the courtyard, but the Jews are able to keep them at bay. And the Romans have issues making headway here because the Jews still control, access to these further towers. The Romans might seize the courtyard down here, but what's going to end up happening is that this bridge here gets destroyed by the Jews, I believe, so that the Romans can't cross it.
Strap in,
so
I'm driving.
It's basically, okay, the remainder is still there, and that's an area that the Jews can use to assault the Roman position. So the Romans find that they're not making headway yet again into the courtyard, and so what they decide to do is throw up some siege ramps out against the western side of this wall. And so let's go ahead and maybe see if we can get a better view. Yeah, so the Romans set up some siege ramps
Strap in, I'm
against
driving.
this outer wall here. Repeated attempts and assaults, and they fail. At one point, the Jews seem to vacate this position. The Romans all of a sudden throw siege ladders up and climb over, and they think that they've gotten an opportunity to storm the wall. Nope, it turns out it's again a Jewish trap. This entire place has been rigged up with hay and straw. They set a light on the underside of the rafters, and everything goes up and so every step of the way,
Gas is
the
moving in.
completely
New safe zone
bloodied.
located.
But at this point, the Romans finally do kind of get a toehold in this position, and this is where the next stage of the battle for the Temple Mount begins, is where you have the Romans setting up their armies across this grand plateau of the Temple Mount, and the Jews meanwhile have their main garrison kind of stationed along this the temple, the second temple here, Herod's temple, and again it just provides convenient parapets from which to fire, and you get multiple battles out across the courtyard, which is absolutely incredible. Yeah, the Court of the Gentiles it's called. So what I wanted to do at this point is let's go ahead and look at this in first person. They have an awesome 3D view, and so I'll let this load and we'll hop in and we'll move on to the next one. And now we've dropped in, and this is an awesome on-the-ground 3D viewer where you can actually walk around, and if you have virtual reality, you can actually visualize yourself with VR. Very cool. But in any case, this gives us a view of what the perspective would have been like for the Roman commanders who now hold the pretty destroyed Antonia fortress. And you can, we are told, I think, that Titus actually positions himself in one of those towers and is able to overlook this entire battlefield. And this is where the Roman legions come out and they take some of the colonnade back here. They use some of it as cover, and this is where they station the different cohorts and different
Got
forces
gas
out.
moving in.
And so you can imagine the ranks and ranks of Romans trying to set up and establish themselves here, but what they're looking at is yet another fortress staring them in the face with lines of Jewish forces, and they crash across this area.
Going this way.
In a
Got a
series of
vendor.
battles, and they're so intense that no one is really able to make any ground. We're being told that this is essentially like the Colosseum, fighting Romans fighting across a vast area of cobblestone. And what shocks me is that we're told that there's actually Titus at one point takes his cavalry down here, presumably having them gone through the breach. There's actually, I believe, cavalry charges back and forth across this cobblestone. And this is really the height of the siege, and it is supposed to show how intense this thing was. And again, check out our other videos where we go into this in more depth. But eventually, the Romans are able to push forward one of their assaults to make it up against the inner temple here. And a pair of legionaries are said at some point to have been able to put themselves up against the wall here. Of course, the gates are going to be barred. But what they're able to do is I think they toss a torch over up to one of the open windows, and it actually sets the inner temple alight. And that is going to cause a huge issue for the Jewish forces, because now their main religious sanctuary is on fire. That causes a distraction, causes chaos, and the Romans are able to punch forward. And so let's go ahead and we'll pan over and we'll see kind of what is on the inside of this temple that the Jews are fighting so hard to defend. We'll see what they're doing the Romans to penetrate the thing. So yeah, you can imagine if
Be
you're a Roman
advised,
legionary,
enemy team is
these
tracking your
walls, what do
location.
you do?
Be advised, UAV is being overviewed. RTB for resupply.
Hammering against this gate, so even if the Romans have victory, it's very hard to kind of crack this nut. But I guess maybe there's Jewish forces during the siege over here who start to retreat. Some of them are trying to make it through the gate.
I'm
when
driving.
The fire happens and everyone's panicking. And maybe this is the way that the Romans actually came through. They would have been greeted by an impressive sight. This is the main courtyard here, where again maybe a couple defenders are still fighting with the Roman legions, perhaps in tuxedo forms in this game, push out. Meanwhile, there's constantly fire from all sides. At the same time, people running about, fire is spreading into the corner here. And this is where the Romans are going to push. And so maybe one legionary makes his way up through here, slays a couple of the Jews who are running away. They make it into the inner sanctum. I believe this is the court of the priests. And this is where the religious site, of course, for the Jews. This is where you would have had the animals, sacrificial animals chained up. They get killed ritualistically, and they're offered up in the this is another site that is still quite holy, but the real holy of holies is in the inner sanctuary here. Very few people were allowed to come in, but it was actually the full dwelling of Yahweh, of God Himself.
Strap in. I'm driving.
So very limited who could come in. You make your way in here if you could, and then there's even yet further veil here protecting the Holy of Holies. The dome of the rock sits behind you, and that's where it's believed. I believe according to Jewish tradition that it's that rock from which God formed the earth. It's on that rock that a lot of biblical stories are based. So anyways, the blasphemous Romans make their way inside, and they're able
Gas is closing.
to
Get to the
completely
new
ransack
safe
this
zone.
area. They do, I believe, seize this menorah, carry it out, and this is the menorah that the Romans are really going to parade at their triumph. And so they're completely destroying
Strap
this
in. I'm
area,
driving.
and ransacking it. There's blood and burning bits everywhere. The Jews are still going to be fighting their siege, but are forced to kind of abandon this position. And what ends up happening is that I believe Titus brings in the legions for a brief pause here. They do special thanks to the Roman gods, the Roman sacrifices, completely defiling the Jewish religion. So that's just incredible. And seeing this in third person really drives home what this would have looked like. And now the Romans have taken the Temple Mount. What they do next is they're going to go ahead and they're going to go. Actually, there's a bit of a lull in the fighting where the Jews regroup in the upper city here. The Romans have the Temple Mount, and there's going to be some discussions. And the discussions apparently take place on this viaduct. where the Romans have access to one side and they send out some messengers.
Gas is
On
closing
the
in.
other side, you have the Jews who do send out some of their own messengers, and they have a consequential talk here as they're trying to exchange favors and perhaps talk about terms, and perhaps some of the Jewish leaders could get clemency or not be able to leave and fall apart. And you can imagine, again, just imagine there must have been someone
Strap
standing
in, I'm
this
driving.
tower watching these talks. And this is the view that they would have had, not just of the destruction of this area, the remnants of the siege force out here, the wall of circumvallation, but still the remainder of the city, which the Jewish defenders are currently further reinforcing. And it's stunning to imagine. But in any case, as the talks in the Bible fall apart, the Romans decide that they want to send a message, and so what they do is they send their legions out to the mostly undefended lower city here, densely packed. It's going to be some street-to-street
Enemy
fighting,
UAV
but
overhead.
most it's going to be filled with just the civilians of Jerusalem who are in a great state of starving. Many of these buildings are filled with bodies who have died throughout the siege out of starvation and disease. But the Romans nonetheless break through and they set the whole thing alight, and some smoke fills the city. Again, just imagine what it would look like for someone standing in the tower watching the lower city burn. Similarly, you can imagine what it would look like here from the Jewish perspective, as they have the whole beautiful city, looking out at the Temple Mount here. That thing has gone in flames. Clearly the Romans have taken it. You can see the wall of circumvallation out here preventing your escape.
I'll drive.
Now you see the whole lower city cast into flames. And it's just absolutely shocking. And then finally the Romans, after a couple of days, are going to regroup again, and they launch an assault on the final last cities from the city. Again, there's another inner fortress here. There's a palace, I believe, with some tall towers. And so the Romans regroup. They set up a couple siege ramps. One of them is going to be over by the gymnasium here in the center to try and get over this hill. They have another siege ramp by one of the towers down here, yet another one behind them. So 3 separate towers. I believe there's even auxiliaries. Meanwhile, the main Roman legions are going to exit the city, reform outside, and now are going to launch massive triple assaults with various siege ramps up into this palace. And eventually they do reach the walls, and at this point the Jews are just completely exhausted, and the Romans kind of sweep through the city. And then after that, there's essentially cleaning up operations that track down the remaining Jewish forces. Some of the Jewish leaders actually went down.
Got gas
They
inbound.
went down to
Safe
the
zone
sewers and tried to
relocated.
dig their way out, and there's all kinds of craziness that happens. But that's essentially the gist of all of this. It's absolutely stunning.
Strap
work
in, I'm
done by the
driving.
BYU team and all the artists and visual work and 3D modeling is just incredible. So I recommend that you check out this model itself and explore it. I'll put the links in the description below. And then I'll also, for sure, definitely check out our other videos where we do history of the siege and highlight some of the key moments and key events. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
The siege of Jerusalem was a massive military endeavor, the likes of which had not been seen since the fall of Carthage 2 centuries earlier. Starting in April of 70 AD and lasting nearly 5 months, the battle would be a brutal, no-holds-barred brawl fought over every inch of the city. At stake was the success of the Great Revolt in Judea and the survival of the Jewish people.
Strap in, I'm driving.
Roman involvement in Judea first began in 63 BC, when Pompey the Great was drawn into a Jewish civil war, and eventually seized Jerusalem. However, the region saw much turbulence during the final years of the Republic, and was taken over by the Parthians, before legions returned to install the puppet King Herod. Eventually, a series of procurators oversaw Judea, but these largely lacked the competency and military power to impose order. Roman authority was highly dependent on local elites who themselves often lacked the confidence or respect of the Jewish people. On top of this, the population of Judea was divided across lines of class, ethnic, and religious divisions. As a result, the region was highly unstable. Revolutions seemed perpetually around the corner. In May of 66 AD, rioting amongst the people was met by the heavy-handed overreaction of the Roman procurator Florus, who only further incensed the situation.
Moving up.
Locked down. Area's clear. Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone. Friendly loadout drop on the way.
Got a vendor if you need gear. I'm driving.
Gas is closing in.
I'm driving.
Enemy UAV overhead. Targets remain standing. Sort them out. Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
I'm driving. Strap in, I'm driving. We need recon. Send that flyover. Strap in, I'm
UAV
driving.
entering the AO. Be advised, UAV is being moved.
Strap in, I'm driving.
Less than 5 targets remain. Let's get it done. You've got gas moving in.
Strap in, I'm driving.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Strap in, I'm driving. Strap in, I'm driving.
Gas is moving. Gas is moving in. New safe zone located. We've got gas moving in. Mission accomplished. All targets eliminated.
What a fucking pussy!
He's coming, Emily. Hold on. Wave, 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 wave. Oh, he saw you. He saw you. He's hitting the brakes and backing up.
During our undercover operations, it's not uncommon for potential